Good afternoon and thank you for joining our BlueScope Steel Connect webinar today. Hope everyone has taken your lunch in this beautiful day. I'm Daniel here, Technical Consultation Engineer for NS BlueScope Malaysia, and together here is my colleague Nicole Ling, Consultation Manager, and we will be your speaker for this insightful webinar today. Today we will be exploring residential roofing from design consideration to long-term durability in comparison between material of tile and steel. Before we begin, here are a few housekeeping notes. The webinar will run approximately for an hour. We will have a 15-minute Q&A session, so please feel free to submit your question anytime via the Q&A chat box with your email, just in case we did not have the time to reply you. So CPD points awarded for this session are 1.5 LAM points and 1 BM point. So a CPD attendance link will be shared towards the end of the webinar. So kindly ensure you complete it before leaving. With that, let's get starting. So when people say roof, they think shelter. True, but too narrow. If we design to that definition, we accept blind spots. A roof is a system interacting with structure, weather, people, and time. So let's widen our lens and take a broader view on a roof. A roof protects life and assets, hold property value and status, give comfort and privacy. Subsequently, it provides shelter from weather, security, living space, privacy, to store belonging, and to comfortably live and work. But we only notice when it fails, either leaking, too hot, or too noisy. So today, we will explore on the design durability of a roof. So here's the roadmap for today. We will start with residential roofing material, then move into design limitation, types of load design, photovoltaic integration, roofing costs, and finally commercial and cost perspective. Each section builds on the previous one, so I strongly encourage you to stay through the whole journey. So let's begin with the most common residential roofing material. When we talk about residential roofing, we almost always end up with two dominant systems. At the top, steel roof, at the bottom, tile roof. Both perform the same basic function. They keep the weather out, but in terms of design, structure and performance, they behave very differently. One immediate differences that you can see here is that steel roofing can be used just not on the roof, but also as a wall cladding. This creates a level of architectural continuity that tiles simply can't achieve. All these examples use coated steel, yet each has very different architectural expression. So this brings us to the core question, why coated steel as a roofing? I'll answer that immediately, not immediately, but progressively throughout the webinar. However, if you do have any question, feel free to drop in any question into the Q&A chat box throughout this webinar. Back to here, all the projects shown here are using BlueScope material, but each and every of it has its own unique design and story. From dual pitch roof, to hip roof, to flat roof, all made possible using coated steel. Here we made a small feature comparison between tile and steel roof. For anyone who is taking note in this webinar, let me give you a quick reference. Everything on your left will be tile roof, while on your right is steel roof. This will help everyone to visualize better. So back to this comparison. Firstly, both provide robust and high strength. Both are aesthetic appealing. Both are durable. Both also design flexibility. However, steel roof is lighter. It provides higher construction efficiency. And lastly, lower risk in water leakage. Now we have known the fundamental comparison between both roofs. We can move into something more philosophical on roofing. So, a roof is more than just a roof that covers our head. An ideal roof must first deliver its core purposes, disregard it being tile or coated steel. and to protect life, protect asset, maintain status, and provide privacy. But delivering this fundamental depends on how it is designed and how it performs over time. So firstly, design flexibility is very critical. If the design is too rigid, it limits how architects and homeowners express their ideas. Secondly, the roof must perform as intended. Performance failure usually don't happen immediately. They show up years later. That is why this aspect is so important. And lastly, an ideal roof must be future ready, but today what it meant is being solar ready. With energy costs rising, sustainability becoming more important. The roof is no longer just a shelter, it is a platform for renewable energy. So when we talk about ideal roof, it's not about whether it's tile or steel, it's about whether the roofing can deliver all of this. So with that in mind, let's now look at where different roofing systems start to face design and performance limitation. Here is a comparison of residential roofing in design aspect. As mentioned previously, on your left will be the tile roof, while the right is the steel roof. In design aspect, we evaluate it by looking into four main categories. We have roof slope, we have design flexibility, color selection, and also overall structural weight. So for tile and steel roof, both can cater for steep roof, which is above 12 degrees. However, tile roof could not cater for gentle slope and flat roof as compared to steel roof. This is due to the reason of tile roof require minimum pitch for water runoff. Without the pitch, tile roof will have significant water leaking problem as the water could not run off quickly. So on the next category, tile roof has minimal design flexibility, whereas steel roof can cater for multiple types of slope, hence unlocking more design flexibility. Both offer color selection of your choice. And lastly, on the overall structural weight, tile roof is heavier than steel roof. This is an important factor which I will dive deeper later. So in this slide, we compare on the long-term performance. On the long-term performance, we evaluate by fundamentally what a roof performance should have. Longevity, where how long lasting it can be. Water tightness, meant how well it's prone to leakages. Water drainage, meant how well the water can be discharged with various roof slope. And lastly, a synergy with solar panels. So as we can see here, tile roof provide good performance, but steel roof provide excellent performance. So in a different way to look at this comparison, tile roof provide adequate performance, but steel roof provide even more than that. Now we have seen what are the clear differences between tile and steel roof. Now back to the limitation of tile roof. Do you know that tile roofs are generally more expensive than steel roof? In reality, the cost of the tiles are cheaper than steel, but when we talk about the entire roof system, it's another story. Tile roofs are heavier, which in turn it requires more trusses quantity, more batten quantity, longer installation time, which drive the entire system price to go up. But on the other hand, steel roof can reduce these costs with more roofing design variation. So, how does a steel roof reduce the cost? Here, we have a comparison on tile and steel roof, and we will compare in between of support spacing, roofing structure, and also installation time. So firstly, tile roofs are heavier, hence require stronger trusses design, which lessen the spacing comparing to a steel roof, which are lighter. Because tile are heavier, it needs to have a heavier roofing structure comparing to a steel roof, which are lighter and flexible. As you can see here, it has a different design. Lastly, on the installation time, tiles have higher installation time, as generally tiles are around 300 mm per length, whereas steel roofs are significantly faster as the width and length are much bigger. So in short, steel roofing allows wider support spacing, lighter structure, and much faster installation. And that directly translates into lower structural costs, lower labor dependency, and also shorter construction timeline. Now let's move to where tiles can't do, which is design variation. This modern design you see here are very difficult, if not impossible, to achieve with tiles. So steel roofing enables lower pitch and also longer span. And overall, a cleaner architectural language which unlocks more design variation. This will be shared more by my colleague Nicole later with more project examples. Now let's move into more technical section, which is the load design. So first, how many load designs are there and why is it a concern? That's a very common question for everyone. Before we start to do any job, we will need to understand the client objective and expectation. From that, we can explore more on the design option that will last long. Importantly, the design are safe for everyone. So with these 3 points, we are providing a high quality work to our client. They meet their objective and expectation. But back to the question, why is it a concern? In roofing, we need to consider on load design because it will affect long-term durability of the roofing. So at the top, we have 2 loads that are pressing on us, which are dead load and live load. While at the bottom, the one that everyone are familiar with is actually wind load. So in this chapter, we will explore each and every of it. Firstly, the most important load of all is actually dead load. Dead load is the addition of structure and construction weight. In dead load, we have 2 parts, structural and non-structural. Structural consists of concrete slab, beam and column, roof trusses, and wall, whereas non-structural consists of roofing material, insulation material, solar panel, ceiling board, which are mainly the roofing system. So on your bottom right here, it is a typical double skin roofing build-up which contribute to the weight of the roofing system. So why do I mention on this? Because this heavily affected on is structural part, namely roof trusses. When a roofing system gets heavier, your roof truss needs to be beefier. So in other words, in more of a numbering form, here we show a small comparison on a roofing system. You can see here, tile roof is actually 2 times heavier than steel roofing, effectively making the roof trusses to be heavier, which ultimately increases the structure cost. So this plays a huge role in roofing. If we did not consider it earlier, the roof truss may fail due to the unaccounted weight at the roof. Now we move to a direct comparison of how roofing material impact on the trusses system between using tile and a steel roofing. As before, the left are tile roof while the right are steel roof. We will have a comparison based on these 3 categories: roofing material weight, trusses weight, and also roof pitch. So firstly, as just now I've shown, tile roof weigh approximately 40 to 70 kg per meter square, while steel roof only weigh 4 to 7 kg per meter square, which is 10 times lighter. Because of that, tile roof is much heavier. The next thing we need to consider is the trusses strength. To cater for the heavier tile roof, a stronger and beefier truss design are required, and this accounts for the additional weight of the truss. Whereas for steel roofing, it can be much lighter with a more simple and efficient truss design to cater a much lighter roof. Moving to the last comparison, which is called a roof pitch. So this is the only comparison out of all that are affected by the design. So for tile roof, it needs to cater for steep pitch to ensure sufficient water runoff, which limit the truss design. On the other hand, steel roof can cater for low pitch, and this helps to reduce the truss's pitch, which in turn unlocking much more design flexibility like flat roof. All these points here play a huge role in roofing structure. With this comparison, steel roof can provide much more cost-effective design flexibility. Next, to live load. So live load is something that we do not see often on roofing, but it is crucial for roofing structure. It is a temporary weight when someone goes up for maintenance work. So now, currently, with solar and photovoltaic panels being so common, this is something that we must consider on a roofing structure system. Here we have 4 persons going up to the roof for maintenance, doing their various work. So without a proper design, it will pose safety risk for them to conduct their work. So here, we move slightly deeper into live load type. So firstly, there are 2 live load categories that we need to understand. Firstly is point load. Point load is where a load is applied at a specific point on the roof. So here is a handyman, similar to a previous scenario where someone climbed on top of the roof for maintenance. So point load show the material strength during a localized stress. Whereas on the second part, roofing live load, this is where human traffic or equipment mobilization on the roof. This is getting more common because with the integration of photovoltaic panels on the roof, maintenance at the roof are much more frequent nowadays. When maintenance are needed, there will be a risk of safety when someone goes on top. Okay. Now we talk about characteristic comparison between tile and steel roof. So firstly, tile roof have a low tensile capacity, meaning that the component is weak in resisting forces that pull, stretch, or bending, making it easily deform or crack. So a quick explanation using diagram here. Roof tile are generally 300 mm length, but why doesn't it span up to 900 mm length? So over here with this diagram, let's do a bit of experiment. So let's add a force at the top. What happens here are the top itself, the force are directly pushed downwards and nothing happens to the tile. But when we apply the same force to the 900 mm spacing, it will have a resultant force upward. When this happens, the tile will break. So on the other hand, talking about steel roof, it has a high tensile capacity, which gives steel the superior ability to withstand pulling, stretching, or bending without fracturing or permanent deformation. So, with the same force but applied on a steel roof with a 900 mm spacing, a resultant force will act upwards. With a high tensile capacity, it will not have a permanent deformation. So, in a summary, the steel roof gives better flexibility towards live load, as it can handle localized stress much better. Here, we have some consideration that need to take on. So as I have shared earlier, clay tiles have low tensile capacity, meaning it can hold load provided with the right spacing support. Whereas for steel roof, it has a high tensile capacity, making it able to hold much further support spacing. However, we have an additional information that we need to consider, which is the material itself. Tiles are actually brittle, so when someone goes up to the roof and do maintenance, there will be a chance a tool may fall. So a tile will have the tendency to break if that happens. Whereas for steel roof, it is robust. It will not break as it has a high tensile strength. Now, on the most unfamiliar part, which is wind load. So firstly, we need to understand on the wind load diagram. As shown here, when the wind blows on the left side of the building, air will be pushed into the building, causing it to have positive pressure internally, pushing the roofing upwards from the inside. Whereas on the outside, due to the design of the roof, it will have a low pressure zone, which is known as a negative pressure or suction pressure. This will create a huge negative pressure at the top, causing the roof to lift off and fly off. So for this, wind load are strongly dependent on edges uplift forces, especially fastener performance, purlin spacing, and also openings. So now let's set some scenario on how it affects on tile and steel roof. So below here, there are two roofs as an example, tile and steel roof. And now we add a little wind on the left, just like the diagram. So inside we will have a positive pressure trying to push from inside, while on the outside a strong negative pressure will try to lift the roof upwards. So now we have set the scenario just like the diagram. Now we move more to the mechanism part of the tile and steel roof. So firstly, tile roof uses interlocking mechanism like tongue and groove, along with weight to improve on strong wind performance. Whereas for steel roof, it uses fasteners and clip, and sometimes even seaming to provide a better wind performance. With this, the steel roof will have an additional mechanical grip compared to a tile roof, holding from top to bottom. Now we have a clearer view on the tile and steel roof mechanism. Next, we will explore more when the negative pressure becomes too strong. Now let's move a little of the tile roof to the top right to bring in another diagram for a better explanation. So in this diagram, while it is using a tile roof, if a negative pressure is too high at the top, the tiles at the peak will experience a lift off, as you can see here. When this lift happens, the tiles will either fly away or, even worse, it's actually moved, and this contributes to water leakages. Now compare it with a steel roof. It will not have this issue because first, the length are longer, and also it requires a much higher force to lift off, but this is subject to a proper purlin spacing and also the fasteners. Now we go into photovoltaic integration, because today roofs are no longer just shelter but energy platform. So first, let's talk about something that's becoming increasingly common in residential roof. So photovoltaic panels or PV panels. It quickly became a design expectation. So 5 things that matter. First is orientation. So roof area is always fixed with a slope that determines the decades of solar yield. Lower slope, widen optimization option as we capture solar from morning to evening. Next is shading. Ensure there are no shading around or it will defeat the purpose of a PV panels. Next, roof life. Once PV panel goes on, removing it is expensive and risky. So, the roof below must be durable and age predictably. And next is on the structure. PV panels add additional weight, and we must account for that in the truss design. And lastly, the mounting. Adding PV panels may introduce water seepages to the roof. Choosing the right roof can mitigate this. Now we see how integrate PV panels with roof tiles and steel roof. Since roof slope, tile roof are generally fixed, PV panels require most exposure to work efficiently during daytime, the roofing tiles has a lesser allowance area to integrate suitable PV panels efficiently. And the next thing is, during installation and maintenance, the tiles are prone to have a risk of cracking since it is not designed to have a human traffic. And tile roof requires a special hooks to be installed to the batten. And this poses micro cracks which is not detectable right away, comparing to a steel roof which is designed with the intention to install PV panels. The low pitch has ample allowance to integrate PV panels efficiently, and it also allows PV panels to be installed without doing any structural modification by utilizing non-penetrating clamp-on system. So over here we have seen how both roofs integrate with PV panels. Then on the next, now we look into something more serious, water seepage. So to understand that, we need to understand a bit on water. Water will always flow from high to low whenever there are gravity. So for this comes another question. Why do roofing tile require high pitch? Firstly, we need to understand on the fundamental design of a roofing profile. So over here, we have roof tile and steel roof side profile. This is what we call a rib height. Now, we add a little water to it. And where do you think the water will overflow and leak? So, over here, this is what we call it as a usable water catchment area. With this laid, now we can see where the maximum height. But actually, what does it mean? Now we have to look at a different part, which is we have a side lap of these two profiles. And with this side lap, we add some water, as you can see here. Now we can see clearly, if the water rises above the side lap profile, the water will actually leak. Okay, hence tile roof must have a steep pitch. Whereas for a steel roof, it has this anti-capillary break design where it will prevent water to seep in even though it's above the side lap. Now we have learned the fundamental roofing profile, and now the goal rule of this profile is actually rib height and roof pitch works inversely. If a rib height increases, pitch decreases, and it works similarly inversely. So this shows the water seepage are significant lesser for steel roof compared to a tile roof. And now let's do a bit of a comparison on water leak with the PV integration. So here, similar as before, we have roofing tile and also steel roof. So over here, on the same roof, we have these two types of roofing material, which is roofing tile and steel roof. And over here, we want to simulate a little bit on something what we call a backflow. So roofing tile, as you can see here, it has a short length, which requires many end lap. This end lap creates gap between the tiles when installed with special hook. So this creates a high backflow possibility. Now on a steel roof, which does not have any end lap on a single roof, where it creates no backflow possibility. So with this, let's add a little bit of rain. And as mentioned earlier, water naturally flows downwards. But when a strong wind blows, the water will try to go upwards. And of course, with the ones with the more end lap will have a higher tendency of water leak. So what this means is, steel roof has a better compatibility for PV panels as compared to a tile roof. Now, here we will share a little on a steel roofing PV panels clip in the market. So on the left here, these are the most common concealed fixed type of steel roofing, meaning that it is designed to utilize purlin and have a fastener concealed except for flashing or edges. With this type of profile, there are many brackets available in the market by PD suppliers, and they can cater various design of steel roofing to create a watertight solution. Whenever you use this type of profile, do remember there are always solar bracket supplier for this. So now we move into more on a technical insight of a roofing cost. So roofing cost is not a line item, it's actually a timeline. So where does the cost start and how does it affect the roofing design and structure? So roofing cost is not the same for every house type. As you can see here, in residential development, there are 3 common landed property types that clearly show how roof design, cater and cost differ. So firstly, on a semi-detached house, there are houses with a common wall with 3 exposed sides. Because of this exposure, semi usually have the highest design complexity. It has an individually designed roof where it requires customized truss and detailing. This leads to a higher cost. They often target premium buyers where owners appreciate the aesthetic and performance. Next, on the cluster house. Cluster homes share roofing and structural element across multiple units. It is partially exposed, making the design to be limited. Hence, the design flexibility is moderate. The roof design are across multiple units, making the truss system semi-standardized. It has a medium construction cost and efficiency, which are targeted to the mid-market. And lastly, terrace house. Terrace houses are built in a continuous row, sharing wall on both sides because it is only exposed at the front and rear. And because of this, it severely limits the roof design variation because consistency across entire row is required. So however, this makes terrace house highly standardized, faster to build and more cost efficient, and they are commonly designed for mass market, which are affordable and premium depending on the development. So in short, different house types result in different roof design, also different truss system, and ultimately different roofing costs. With that context in mind, we can now move on to how roofing cost is actually built up. So first, now we understand how different houses type affect roof design and complexity. Now with the important question, where does the roofing cost actually start? So in general, roofing cost is driven by 2 main components, direct cost and indirect cost. And now let's start with the first one, which is direct cost. Direct costs refer to costs that incur before project completion, from design stage all the way until roof is installed. And these costs are very visible to developers and contractors. And it is direct costs that affect the return on investment directly, which are first, material costs, the design complexity, and also the installation time. The next one is on the indirect costs. Indirect cost actually comes after the project is completed, and this is often overlooked during design stage. It includes factors like maintenance and durability. Although indirect costs may not be immediately visible, they can have significant impact over time, not only in terms of money, but also reputation, warranty claim, and also lastly, the customer satisfaction. Now let's move individually. First is on the first component of direct cost, which is material cost. Earlier we discussed how different property type target different markets. This is important because material selection is closely tied to the performance expectation, whether the project is positioned as affordable or premium. So we go one. Firstly is semi-detached and cluster houses. These are typically premium developments. Buyers in this segment expect stronger performance, better aesthetic, and also a longer life. As a result, material selection tend to focus more on performance and durability rather than just upfront cost. Whereas for terrace house, the situation is different. Terrace house can be positioned as affordable or premium depending on the development. This means material choices must be carefully balanced between performance expectation. So now let's have a tile roof and steel roof from a material perspective. For affordable segment, tile roof tend to have a very recognizable and traditional appearance, while steel roof give a more simple and more utilitarian look. For premium segment, both tile and steel roofing can deliver strong architectural character, just in a different way. Premium tiles offer texture and form, while premium coated steel offer cleaner lines, color consistency, and modern detailing. From a performance standpoint, each material has its own compromises. It must always be considered together with performance expectation and also target market with a long-term behavior. Now let's move to the second component of a direct cost, which is design complexity. Now let's look at this by property type, starting with semi-detached house. Semi-D houses usually have high roof complexity because they are more exposed, often customized for architectural expression. As shown here, even with the same house type, one design can be relatively simple, while another can be highly complex with multiple roof plane, valley, and junction. The more detailing we introduce, the more material wastage, installation difficulty, and also labor time we create, all of it which increase cost. Now, on a cluster house typically sit in the middle. Their roof design must be coordinated across multiple units, which limits some freedom but still allow for variation. So as a result, their roof complexity is medium and costs are more controlled compared to a semi-D houses, but higher than terrace house. Finally, terrace house. Terrace house have a low roof complexity because all units must follow a consistent roof design along the entire row. This severely limits the design flexibility, but it also allows for very efficient construction, minimal detailing, and better cost control. So as roof complexity increases, detailing increases, and that directly drives higher material wastage, longer installation time, and also higher cost. Now we move to the third component of direct cost, which is installation time. There's a common saying in construction, time is money, and for roofing this is absolutely true. So installation time is strongly influenced by two main factors. First is truss standardization and also roofing material. So let's look at this again by property type. For semi-D houses, a truss design is usually low standardized due to higher roof complexity. This means more coordination, more site adjustment, and longer installation time. For cluster house, there is some level of repetition and coordination across unit. This allows for medium standardization, improving installation efficiency comparing to a semi-D houses. For a terrace house, truss design are highly standardized, repeated across long row of houses. This allows for the fastest installation time at the most. So now let's compare between using a truss usage, coverage, installation time, and also labor dependency. So firstly, tile roof are heavier, require more truss usage and cover a smaller area per piece. This results in a longer installation time, and also it highly dependent on a skilled labor. But on a steel roof, it is lighter, require less structural support, cover a larger area per sheet, and this allow for faster installation, fewer handling steps, and also lower labor dependency. So in summary, longer installation time increases the total cost and also unpredictable project timelines. Now we have covered all the direct costs. Now let's move into the indirect costs. So starting with maintenance. So maintenance is something that happens on day one, but over the entire lifespan on the roof, it can significantly influence the total cost of ownership. So if we look at this table, different roofing systems have a very different service life. More importantly, they often fail for different reasons. So starting with tile roof. Tile roof can have long typical service life, often 30 to 60 years or even more. However, what usually ends a tile roof performance is not the tile itself, but issues like crack or displaced tiles, mortar deterioration, or failure of the waterproofing layer. This issue often occur gradually and may not be visible immediately, which means leak can develop before problems are detected. Now, looking at a metal roof. Metal roof, the quality of metal roof is often lasts 30 to 50 plus years. But what usually ends a steel life is actually an aggressive environment. So now we move to the second component of indirect cost, which is durability. When we talk about durability, it's not just about how long a roof can last, it's about how predictable a roof performance is over time. So looking at this comparison table again, we can see several key durability between metal roofing and tile roofing. So firstly, color performance. With tile roofing, color fading tends to be uneven, as individual tiles weather differently depending on exposure and replacement history. On the next, lifespan predictability. Tile roof, on the other hand, they are less predictable because tiles can crack or break unexpected due to impact, maintenance activity, or even movement. So following on serviceability, tile roofs are fragile to work on, and replacing broken tile often takes more time and require greater care to avoid further damage. Lastly, on a warranty coverage, tile roofs are given 5-year system performance warranty, which is short considering the price you pay for the roof. Now on a metal roofing. Metal roofing relies on a paint and coating system, which typically fades slowly and evenly over time. For metal roofing, lifespan is generally predictable because it is closely linked to the quality of the coating, system, and environment. From a serviceability perspective, metal roofs are easier to work on. They are more robust under foot traffic and have fewer small components, so making the repair more simple and more controlled. But lastly, on the warranty coverage, metal roofs are given this warranty: perforation by corrosion 30 years, peel and flake 15 years, excessive fading 12 years, dirt staining 5 years, which are significantly more than what a tile roof can provide. So the key message here, actually, the more maintenance a roof requires, the higher the lifetime cost, even if the upfront price is lower. So to wrap everything we have discussed in this session, let's take a step back and look at the big picture of a roofing cost. Firstly, we need to remember that roofing cost goes far beyond just material price. It includes how the roof is designed, how it is constructed, and how it performs over its entire lifespan, not just on day one. We have also seen that house types set the cost framework, like semi-D houses, usually have higher complexity with a more customized roof and truss design. Cluster house sits in the middle, balancing design flexibility and efficiency. Terrace houses are more standardized, allowing the lowest construction cost and the fastest installation time. So from there, we look at direct cost, material selection, design complexity, and also installation time. So heavier system, more detailing, and a longer installation all increases upfront cost. But another thing, just as important as direct cost is actually indirect cost, which is maintenance and durability. These costs don't show up immediately, they have major impact over time. This is why predictable performance is so critical. Ultimately, choosing the right roofing system is not about cheap versus expensive, it's about value, predictability, and performance over time. So we have covered the technical performance, durability, and long-term value of residential roofing. But now, here comes to the question that everyone cares about, cost and commercial value. So with that, I will hand over to Nicole, our consultation manager, who will walk you through the commercial costs and perspective across residential type.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Nicole, happy to be back with all of you again. Thank you Daniel for the great context today. After listening to all the technical insights, the benefits of steel roofing from Daniel, let's talk about the million-dollar topic now, cost and commercial value. At the end of the day, whether it is a steel roofing or a tile roof, the main question is simple. How much is the cost? Which one gives me the best value? Regardless of whether you are a consultant, developers, builders, we are all homeowners. The final goal is the same, a reliable roofing solution that looks good, lasts long, and deliver the best return without any headaches. We have collected some case studies from professional QS, analyzing the construction costs, installation efficiencies, and the overall life cycle value of steel roofing and tile roof across residential types. So let me show you the case studies. First, we look at the semi-detached home design. Semi-D design typically a pair of houses joined side by side by a shared wall, usually come with a side garden, a back garden, and larger build-up area. These homes generally command a higher selling price. So the expectations go up. Roofing becomes a key architectural features with higher expectation for design and detailing and also the integration. Steel roofing, oftenly a lot of people will think that it's for factories and warehouse that always come with a flat roof design. But look at the semi-D home on the right. The seam steel roof with sharp modern age design give the house a fresher and more elegant feel. It helps the semi-D stand out. Let's look at the case study 1, semi-D home now. In this case study, we analyzed the same semi-D house with the same roof system with a different materials. We purposely compare premium tiles roofing with premium steel roofing. Both options provides a higher choices in their categories. It is a true head-to-head comparison, premium versus premium, not basic versus premium. So there's no quality mismatch. So starting from the construction cost, premium steel roof with ColourBond steel delivers up to 18% cost saving. This includes both the roof system, the material, the metal deck material, and the installations, and also installation costs. Steel roofing are prefabricated, long length panels, which install much faster than individual tiles. Fewer installation days means lower manpower costs. Next, we talk about the lightweight truss costs. As shared earlier by Daniel, steel is significantly lighter. With lesser trusses, purlins, batons, premium steel roofing can contribute up to 23% savings in the lightweight truss cost. In terms of installation time, a semi-D with house roofing takes about 2 days for trusses installation and another 2 days for roof installation. In comparison, premium steel roofing requires around 1.5 days for truss installation and just 1 day for roofing. It reduces the truss installation work by 25% and reduce roofing installation by 50%. Faster installation means reduces the weather risk, improve scheduling certainty, and translate directly into cost. In construction, time is money. Finally, performance and warranty. Premium tile roof typically come with a 5 years system coverage. Premium steel roofing with ColorBond offer better water tightness and long-term performance, supported by 30 years warranty against corrosion from preparation, 15 years against peeling and flaking, 12 years against major color fading, and 5 years against discoloration by dirt staining. In summary, for semi-D development, premium steel roofing delivers lower total cost, faster construction, and far superior long-term performance. This level of durability and predictable aging better aligns with the expectation of this premium semi-D home, reducing future complaints and protecting both developer values and design reputation long after handover. Now let's move on to the cluster home design. Cluster home typically have compact layouts compared with semi-D design, not just side by side wall, but often back to back as well. Roof design coordinated across multiple units, not treated individually. As a result, the choice of roofing system and structural design have a direct impact on construction costs, installation speed, and overall visual consistency. In this case study 2, cluster home, again, we are comparing premium tile roofing with premium steel roofing based on the same cluster home roof design, ensuring the findings are consistent and relevant. Starting with roof construction costs, the premium steel roof once again delivers savings up to 8.5% compared to premium tile roofing. Lightweight truss costs, it shows the same result. Tile roofs are much heavier, so they need stronger and more materials for structural supports. Because of this, using steel roofing can save up to 23% on lightweight truss costs. For installation time, in this cluster home case, the roof installation takes 1 day for both tiles and steel roofing, which means there are no savings at the roofing stage. However, premium steel roofing still contributes 20% time saving on the truss installation, completing truss work just 1 day. Product performance and warranty, there is no change from the previous case study, as both tiles and steel roofing are evaluated the premium products. So in summary, even in a more compact, higher density cluster home development, the findings remain consistent. Premium steel roofing continues to deliver lower overall costs, faster construction through truss saving, and superior long-term performance. Now let's move on to the terrace home design. Terrace home are houses built in a row, side by side, sharing wall with the units next to them. Home in the same row usually look similar and have similar layouts to keep neat, uniform appearance. They usually have a smaller floor area compared to semi-D homes, but in some cases, terrace houses can be larger unit than cluster homes. Because of this, terrace home can be positioned both in affordable housing and more high-end developments. In case study 3, terrace home, we compare affordable segments. That means affordable tiles roofing with affordable steel roofing. For steel option, we use premium module this round. It is a product made by NS BlueScope in affordable range. Same as the earlier studies, this is a like-for-like comparison within the same design category. Even in these affordable segments, the results are very clear. Affordable steel roofing continues deliver cost advantage up to 13%. Using steel roofing again can save up to 23% in lightweight truss cost in terrace house compared to tiles roofing because of the same similar roof design. Terrace home with affordable tiles roof generally required 1.25 days for truss installation and another 1.5 days for roof installation. With steel roofing, installation is complete in just 1 day for trusses and 1 day for roofing. Faster construction means faster handover. Project can complete on time. Product performance coverage. Affordable tile roofing system offer the same 5-year system performance coverage as premium tiles roof. In comparison, affordable steel roofing with premium module offers a 20 years warranty against perforation by corrosion and 8 years warranty with no major color fading, delivering significant longer protections compared affordable tile roof. So overall conclusions, just like the previous case studies, steel roofing continues to outperform tiles, even in the affordable segments. For terrace home, we took the study one step further. In this case study 4, we compare affordable tile roof against premium steel roof to understand the cost-performance trade-off across different roofing tiers. This is not head-to-head comparison. This is affordable versus premium evaluation. And here's the interesting part. Even though color-bond steel is a premium product, in the roof construction cost is only about 6% higher than affordable tile roof. Beyond that small upfront difference, everything else follows the same trend that we've seen in the earlier case study. The lightweight truss cost is lower, installation is faster, and long-term performance is significantly better with premium steel roofing. So, simply put, you are paying just 6% upfront on roof construction, but in return, you get lower structural costs, faster installation, premium performance, and much stronger long-term value. And project reputation doesn't stop at handover. Premium steel roofing delivers predictable aging and long-term appearance, helping architects, developers reduce future complaints and protect brand credibility throughout the life cycle of the developments. Across all the case studies, semi-D homes, cluster homes, and the terrace houses, the message is the same. Steel roofing consistently gives better value. Today, buyers are smart and vocal. Defects are no longer kept private. Complaints are shared, amplified, and quickly go viral in social media. A single issue can escalate into a reputation damage story, affecting sales momentum, brand confidence, and long-term perceptions of developer. In today's environment, roofing is no longer just a construction choices. It is a risk management and professional liability decisions. So for decades, steel has been associated with factories and warehouses, not because it lacks beauty, but because it delivers strength, reliability, and performance. Today, that same material is redefining residential architecture. They can create amazing, beautiful residential designs. Beautiful homes start with BlueScope. So let's take a look together. Look at this project. It is a private residential in Kuching, Sarawak. The trapezoidal shape of land given an opportunity to the architects to demonstrate how steel roofing can be created with complex roof geometries design. It is not a simple gable hip roof. It consists of multiple roof planes, valleys wrapping around internal courtyard. The design relies on long, continuous roofline with clean junction, which is why steel roofing system is particularly suitable for this architecture. Steel roofing comes with long sheets, fewer joints, greatly reduce the risk of leakage over time. Steel roof can work very well with solar panels. A flat roof can maximize PV capacity and efficiency, easier for integration and allow greater energy generation. Over the life cycle of the building, maintenance access is essential. Technicians will still need to walk on the roof for PV inspections, cleanings, and also servicing. Steel roofing provides a stronger, safer surface for maintenance traffic, reducing risk and damage compared to fragile tiles roofing, which is prone to cracking, displacement, breakage under foot traffic. In this mixed development project, it designed with two long linear buildings blocks with low pitch roof planes. Steel roofings allowed this roof to remain shallow and continuous. From the facade, the roof reads a single neat line, ties the two buildings together. Rainwater is directed inward to a concealed central gutter, keeping roof edge and facade visually clean. No downpipes can be seen in the outer building. This is a high-end, low-density apartment inspired by European barn style with modern rustic feel. The original design called for cotton steel, but Malaysia's hot, humid, and wet climates, and also limited material availability during the construction time, made cotton steel impractical. So as a result, the project used colour-bond XPD steel in copper penny color, achieving similar weather copper-like look while offering better durability and performance in the local conditions without running too far from the initial designs. Beyond individual homes and apartments, steel roofing is also adopted in beautiful townships for high-end, mid to low-end developments. We have beautiful residential references across nationwide, in Peninsular Malaysia, and many more references in East Malaysia as well. Some of the projects are also near the seasides. Here are more beautiful homes that use premium steel on roof and wall, showing how steel can be expressive, elegant, and truly residential. Steel doesn't stop at exterior, it also works for interior. Element steel, one of the decorative products from NS BlueScope Malaysia, brings warm wood grain finishes to interior walls, ceilings, and even steel door, the beauty of timber with the durability of steel. Alright, this comes to my last slides. Build once, build right. At the end of the day, roofing isn't just about completing a project. It's about what happened years after everyone has moved in. Steel roofing install faster, weight less, simplify cost and construction from day one. Most importantly, it keeps performing long after handover. No cracked tiles, no shifting, no repeated problems that comes back to developers or architects. Building lasts and so do reputation. So build once for strength, build right for life. Alright, this is all my sharing today. Hope you enjoy the topics.